So I recently purchased the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, and in this episode, I want to give you my full review of my hazel color Pixel 9 Pro XL. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Google Pixel 9 Pro XL review. First thing I want to start with is just talking about how cool the box is. It's really light and different and definitely better for sustainability. So I think you're going to quite like what Google's doing with the packaging this year. There's just a charging cable in there, some warranty guides. There's not much else to speak of. But the entire Google Pixel portfolio is going to have like this more recyclable material here on their packaging. So nice job this year on this one. Also, I want to talk first about the price point of this phone. This phone costs like $1,200 with tax in my area. It's $1,099 retail, but you got to factor in the taxes where you're at. And if you buy it on a carrier, sometimes they have some extra fees and charges. So let me know how much you paid for your Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. But out of the Pixel 9 series, there is multiple versions of it, the 9, the 9 Pro, 9 Pro XL. We also do have the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which is a folding device. But out of all of them, this is like the best version of it, like the best camera, the biggest battery. So I think this is the best Pixel in the lineup out of the standard candy bar style smartphones, for sure, with the Pixel 9 Pro XL. You can also get this phone in multiple different colors, including porcelain, the obsidian, as well as the quartz, the rose quartz. It's like a pink color. And then, of course, my favorite, which is the hazel. It's more of a grayish green color. I really enjoy it. Definitely quite nice. And one that probably won't chip as much, like the obsidian black, will probably get some little paint chips, because when you paint these things black, they usually get some chipping or some kind of like wear and tear that just doesn't look pretty. So this is the option I would go with if I was recommending you to get a color and you like your phone staying clean for a long period of time. This one or the porcelain color option. So let's start with the body and the build. This phone weighs 221 grams. It immediately struck me that it felt pretty light in the hand for its size. I was like, wow, this is premium. It feels relatively light and super large at the same time. It's a very practical flat screen as well, without curved edges on the body. I definitely prefer that as well. I really like the rounded corners on this body as well. It's a very nice departure from some of the previous Pixels. Very beautiful flat edges, and it really makes this phone feel different, more premium than before. And the camera bar really sets Pixel apart. I'm glad they have their own unique flavor of like a design element that just sets them apart from the competition. It also helps, as people might have noticed in my previous speed tests, from the phone rocking on the table. You could press this anywhere because of that flat camera bar that is horizontal on the rear, and not really have this phone rocking on the table. Really awesome right there. We are having Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front and the rear. And of course, even though this is a shiny edge, this is not stainless steel. This is an aluminum edge over here. 5G antenna bar right there. You'll see little lines for reception over there, over there. You have the volume rocker right here. Power button a little bit higher. So if you like your power button lower, this is not going to be your favorite, but not bad. You'll see USB-C right there. SIM card tray, so you still have a SIM card tray. That's going to be huge for some people who really don't like eSIM. And you'll see over here we have a speaker grill, which we'll talk about audio performance later. Horizontal camera bar, a thermometer right there. It's like a sensor to measure temperature. We also have the flash and the triple camera setup. The G logo right there signifying Google. You'll see none of that FCC branding, none of that stuff. So a very clean, premium, large, and light. Just, it's nice. You know, this is the most premium looking Pixel I've seen yet. One of the things I'm not a big fan of, though, is the camera hole is definitely bigger than the camera punch hole I've seen on some competing Galaxy phones. Also, these probably aren't the thinnest bezels in the world, but they're definitely very, very thin. And they're not going to really anger or irritate anybody when it comes to the design elements of this phone. It's just a really practical, modern, clean, nice, updated, polished version of the Pixel. If I was to sum this up, I would say this is as premium as like an iPhone for Android devices. So if you like the iPhone design and you love Google devices and you love Android phones, this is going to be one of the best picks out there, period, on any smartphone. Taking things over onto the display, 6.8 inches of glory right here, 2,000 nits of usable brightness with 3,000 peak. However, I noticed that even though it's 2,000 nits, it doesn't seem to look as bright as what I've seen on some competing options. I don't know if it's like they're doing something for battery. If you do turn off adaptive brightness, you can tweak it a little bit higher, but just like previous Pixels, I feel like I have to like crank the brightness up to get that full juicy brightness. However, I had no trouble seeing this in direct sunlight, so that 3000 nits peak is definitely up there for sure. And this has an 88% screen to body ratio. So some phones with curved edges might go over 90, and some with thinner bezels might be in the 89 to 90 range as well. So again, this is not the thinnest bezels, but that's not really a problem. We are looking at a 20:9 aspect ratio. And what that means is that the phone is going to feel a little bit taller. It's still pretty wide. It's similar to a 1959, but it's slightly taller, slightly narrower. It's very slight. Almost nobody would be able to tell a big difference between this and a 1959, but it is slightly taller. So if you don't like reaching up to the top of the phone, this is going to be one of the taller feeling phones out there, but it still has a very large panel. We're also looking at 486 pixels per inch density. So what that means is that you have a super high resolution, and you'll see very, very sharp and tack sharp text on day to day. I really notice it's a great reading experience on this phone due to that sharpness. Again, this is an OLED panel, as you would know, and 120 hertz, of course, HDR10 plus support. Scrolling is pretty smooth with the 120 hertz. If we take it over here to settings though, let's talk about this in settings and we go to display. You'll see that we have the ability to have gesture navigation, 3 button modes for this display. Also, they have this touch sensitivity that you can have adaptive touch. It'll adjust environments. Maybe even, I've heard that this phone could even respond to wet fingers because of this new adaptive touch. You also have a screen protector mode, which will increase the screen sensitivity, which I actually have a screen protector on mine right here. And then it does come with the high resolution out of the box. So you got to go over here to screen resolution and put on full resolution if you want to get that top resolution. It's not that much different when you're going about your day to day. So if you want to save some juice, save some battery, I would recommend just go high resolution throughout the day. When you're sitting down and reading something, you might want to go to the full to get that sharp text. Over here though, you can have natural or adaptive color modes. Now adaptive is going to basically adapt to the environment, but it also gives you more of a vivid look. So the natural will be the more toned down look. The adaptive will be the more colorful looking version. We always have an always on display for Pixel, so that's also available. You'll turn it on there and we'll go ahead and showcase. If I lock the screen, it will give you an always on display. Quite nice. And then if you have that enabled, you can use the fingerprint from the lock screen. So you'll have to have that on. But taking it back and wrapping up on display here, you'll see the dark mode is available. Of course, that could be scheduled out. You can change the display text sizes and things of that sort to really enhance this for you. And your display experience also will be complemented by a nice night light at night to make it easier on the eyes. When it comes to the actual content though, it is stunning. It's a beautiful panel for watching video. As you can see right here, very nice rich colors. I do think the 20:9 makes it a little bit less wide than some other phones, but it's a very, very small difference. It's not anything that serious. Definitely makes for a comfortable holding for day to day, but very rich colors, very nice OLED panel. I also noticed it's not like way oversaturated or way undersaturated. It's kind of like a nice sweet spot. So if you don't like an overly vivid display, you don't like a too toned down display, this one has got it like right in the middle. Very, very accurate, very, very nice color reproduction here. I think you'll be very happy. Also, you have that PIP mode right there, picture in picture for the display. And overall, just a very, very enjoyable experience here. It also scrolls pretty smooth, very fast for your day-to-day Pixel experience. So thumbs up on the panel. This is one of the best reasons to get the Pixel Pro 9 XL because the screen is so big, it's vibrant, it's useful, it's fast. This is my favorite of the lineup when it comes to the standard smartphones in their display area. All right, so talking about the software, this is where this phone is really setting itself apart. With the new Pixel screenshots area, you can dive into, any area of a screenshot you're looking for. So I didn't take a ton because I've been not using it that much, but you can search specific things. Like I was looking up an article on Chicago's weather. We had excessive heat warning the other day. So I just put Chicago and it recognized that screenshot had Chicago. Now you can actually do basically anything. Like let's say if I put shirt, there's a guy right there with a white shirt. Let's see if it can grab that screenshot right there. White shirt. So it wasn't able to find that one. How about health hacks? So health. So it was able to find that they were talking about health in that article on that screenshot. So that's a cool and neat feature. Of course, it's still new, so some of it might not work, but it definitely works pretty well for the most part. This was also in the Pixel 8 series, but you have a body temperature thermometer. So it'll show you how to use it here. You can verify the sensor on the back and stuff of that sort. So pretty cool. You can check your temperature and things of that sort, and just heat management and things like that if you want a thermometer. It's maybe something you might not use, but it's cool that it's featured. Also, generative AI features like Gemini, as well as, this new Pixel Studio, will allow you to create AI images, and you can actually tell it what to create. You can just describe your creation and it will make it. So how about a car from the future? Let's see if it can create this. A car from the future, a generative AI image is going to be made. And look at that, bam, right there. Definitely looks like a car from the future if you ask me. And then you can add your own stickers and tools. You can add captions, stickers right here. So this is just a neat new AI feature, and one that is definitely going to be very fun to use. You can create your own imaginary desk setups here. Cool. You'll see a minimalist desk setup with a white minimalist aesthetic. So pretty cool new feature here. Definitely something you're not going to find on other phones. Then we have Google Gemini, which is going to be basically their onboard AI assistant. It's not really replacing the Google Assistant, but kind of is. It's becoming the new version of the Assistant where it has all the AI features now, and it's just a lot smarter, contextual awareness. What can you do for me? Let's go ahead and wait.
I have the generative AI capabilities of the large language model, together with a set of Google Assistant capabilities, like the ability to open apps or adjust phone settings. That means I can understand very specific requests and respond to you directly.
I'm requesting you to tell me how to make a salad with, multiple healthy ingredients. Give me some ideas. So there you go.
Let's create a colorful and nutritious salad. Base, leafy greens.
So I'm not going to wait for him to tell me, but you can see we could throw some chicken in there with some leafy greens, throw some veggies in there. Maybe if you want some fruit, some toppings. So very specific results you've seen right there for daily salad. So just something right there. How do I cook a steak properly? So you can see if you want to cook a steak. Sorry if I'm making you guys hungry. I'm just trying to ask you some very direct things. Ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, filet mignon. And it'll tell you right here how to bring it to room temperature. Now, I already know how to cook a steak, but I just was showing you how direct in this example that they can get with some of these answers. So it could be very personal. So I would probably keep some of my personal business out of here. But for general questions, this is going to be amazing. Gemini is just incredible compared to, other, versions of the assistant before. What are some options for great smartphones on the market today? So it'll show you some of the top options here. So we got the 8 series Pixel. It should be the 9 now, but it's kind of looking at before 15 series, that's 24. Tell you some mid-range options, some budget-friendly options. Now, of course, this is not going to replace my videos because this AI, you got to read this. I'm going to showcase you the real world human experience. But definitely, you can do some research with the Gemini, and it can do a lot more. It can generate images, do math. It can do basically anything you could really think of. It's a very, very powerful assistant right here. And it's free for now, hopefully. And I think there's a paid option that's going to be a little bit more advanced, but it's an amazing onboard assistant, and it's going to work some of the best on here than ever before. You can also hold down the power button. You can ask it what is on the screen. So right here, ask about this screen. What is on this screen? Then it'll tell you. Give it a second. It'll analyze what's on the screen. It'll show you you're on the eBay homepage, and it's showing some Jordan 4 Retro, some Kobe 9 Elites. And that's exactly what is being shown. And you could do this across a system. When you're in applications, you can ask about things you're looking at on YouTube, emails. It will analyze what's on screen. It's all done on device, so it's pretty secure as well. So other than that, we have a new Google Pixel weather app, which is pretty cool. It showcases this material UI right here. You can move these things around, which is nice. It's definitely a different look, and you don't have to save that weather icon to the home screen. So that's fun. And then other than that, it's kind of just the Pixel experience you're used to, very clean. We have these nice toggles up here that definitely match the look of the camera bar on the back over here. And yeah, it's your Pixel experience other than the onboard AI that came on board. If you go over here into settings, pretty clean. There's no colors in here. It's very basic and black and white basically. And then if you go over here to the system settings, let's go down here. Go to gestures, you have a bunch of Pixel specific features like quick start to action, quickly open the camera, flip the camera for selfie, tap to check the phone, lift to check the phone, the one-handed mode, which you'll just bring down. Hold on. You'll just bring it down like that with one thumb off the edge. And then you have flip to shush. So if somebody's calling you, bothering you, just flip the phone around. Pretty neat feature overall. So there's a lot going on here. We could go on and on. I'm not going to go through every single thing. But the software, having 7 years of update support promised, along with the AI features and the clean, already useful Play experience, Google services, all integrated in here, work are the best out of pretty much any phone out there. If you're using Google services, this is like the best phone out there for that stuff. You have a totally awesome software experience that's pretty clean and doesn't add any bloatware. So I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. So the software is all amazing and all that stuff, but how is the performance? And I'm going to give you my real world take versus my speed tests. So in my speed tests, I'm not super impressed with the Pixel's performance by comparison to the other phones in the benchmarks. However, in the real world, using this day to day, I have noticed that there is some jankier scrolling in Chrome, but I don't know if that's a Chrome specific thing. On certain websites, I was scrolling and it just looked a little weird. I think this needs some updates, maybe Android 15, whatever. It's just not as fast to me as some of the other phones with Snapdragon CPUs out there, but it still performs near a flagship level for me. And definitely, I don't think it's going to be a deciding factor to not buy this phone just because it has a Tensor G4 chip that isn't as fast as a Snapdragon chip, because it has all the optimizations for AI and it still runs very fast. If you're that type of person who is into the latest and greatest, you really need your latest and greatest tech features, the best chip out there, this one is not going to please that person. But if you don't care about that, you care about the daily experience and you want the Google Pixel experience, it's not a deal breaker. It isn't. The phone is fast, it's efficient, and it runs well. That's all you need to know. That's it. Bottom line on performance. So one of the cons I have with this phone, it's kind of a pro and a con for certain people. The con is that they're charging $1,100 for 128 gigs. That forces you to basically, in the future, you're going to have to use some of the Google cloud storage. Now, Google has some of the best cloud storage out there. I don't really have a problem with that. It's a really good service. However, what I have a problem with is starting at 128 gig. I think this should start at 256 gig at $10.99, but they're starting that one even higher than this one. So not a fan of the storage here. I think there should have been a 256 gig to start, and then maybe like that's just where it starts. We go 512 and then 1 terabyte. I love that they threw on the 16 gigs of RAM. That allows the AI to run good and also for you to have an amazing RAM management. So everything stays open in the background due to that high level of RAM. I mean, this is the type of RAM you would get on some laptop computers. So it is definitely up there when it comes to the RAM, and it holds everything pretty well. Now, Google just reloaded there because that was a feed of news, so that's different. They have to refresh the feed. But you'll see it just holds everything well and very good on the RAM, but I wish it would start at a 256 gig at the same price as the 128. That's a better value, in my opinion. So when we're looking at the cameras, we're looking at similar to last year, but a little bit better. 50 megapixel on the main camera, that's a wide sensor, 48 megapixel periscope telephoto. It goes 5 times optical zoom. And also we do have ourselves a 48 megapixel ultra wide. This also has laser autofocus. In addition to that, we do have best take, zoom enhance, boosting video, 8K for the first time, I feel like on a Pixel here, 830. This is 8K 30. And then 4K 60 OIS, 10-bit HDR, RAW modes. This thing is loaded. It's a really, really loaded camera experience. And Pixel has always been one of the better ones out there for the camera. And that fingerprint is pretty good. It's just I'm missing because I got a screen protector on here. So let's go over here and you'll see very fast shutter. We go 5 times and it could go zoom 30 times. And with the AI processing, their zoom looks better than some other digital zooms. Just keep that in mind. Hit the settings over here. You have bright, shadow, shutter speeds, all that. And if you take a look, it'll show you up here exactly what's going on. So that's fun. And then if we go over here to the video mode, you could see, click over here, you have video boost settings, you have 8K, you have 60 FPS, 10-bit HDR, standard stabilization, or you can lock that stabilization, or you have the motion for when you're doing like action video. You have a macro mode where you can macro focus. That can be on auto or not. It's really up to you. You have a blurring mode over here, which can do a cinematic blur in the background for video. Pretty cool as well. And then you have night sight and video boost. So there's a lot of improvements here to night sight as well with the boosted mode. You can definitely get, it's going to take some time, but you can really enhance the night mode photography. So if you're in the night mode, I'm not really into that, but if you are, you're going to like this phone a lot. So that's pretty much the camera. What I have to say about the camera, I showcased to you over here. For me, it's still the great Pixel experience where it takes a photo, it processes it, and it makes it just really sharp and beautiful. You've seen right there, once again, Android man looks perfect basically. And then if we go ahead and flip this thing to the front, they improved this front-facing camera as well. This got to be a larger version of a sensor than before. It's 42 megapixel now, so that's better than before. And it can do 4K 60 on the front, so very nice as well. It's an improved front-facing camera, but that's all I have to say about the camera. And as a whole, you know you're getting flagship level cameras on Pixel always, and this is no exception. So go ahead and take a look at my samples. I did quite a few of them. You decide for yourself based on my samples if this is a camera that you might enjoy. For me, I think it does an amazing job. It's one of the best out there for sure. So check it out and let me know your thoughts. Here's some rear-facing video with the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. You can kind of see how it does perform. Overall, audio coming from the phone itself. I'm not going to zoom in because then we're going to get some audio zoom. But overall, pretty good 4K crispy video right here. Let me know your thoughts down below. I also like the stabilization. It's also very good. Here's some front-facing video of the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Very nice day, so pretty crispy quality coming from the front-facing camera. Let me know your thoughts down below. That looks like United Airlines. 20 times zoom video with the Pixel. Very stable due to that electronic image stabilization. Let me know your thoughts overall. We can back it out a little bit. 11 times. It's a good example of the zoom video on this phone. When it comes to battery life, 5060 milliamp hour battery in here. This is one of the biggest on a phone right now, on these bigger phones anyway. And this thing, let me tell you, is insanely good on battery life. This is a 2-day phone for medium to heavy users for sure. This battery is ridiculously long lasting. That's all I gotta say. Reverse wireless charging is on board. Also could charge 70% in just 30 minutes. That's pretty amazing. In addition, This phone really just has one of those batteries that you can just count on. It's charged to 100. There is no way, unless you're on your phone all freaking day long and you don't like ever get off your phone, this phone is going to easily extend into the second day. You can see something like 18 hours of video playback time on here. And if you don't use the phone that much, I honestly think some people might make it 3 days into the third day on this phone if you don't use it a ton. So this phone is really, really impressive here. It reminds me a lot of what OnePlus did with the 12 earlier this year with their 5,400 milliamp hour battery. I love when they go over 5,000 in the milliamp hours. It just gives the battery much better runtime and probably will last longer as well, because if it has more cells in there, it should last a little longer than a smaller battery. So thumbs up. This is one of my favorite areas. And something you should note too is while the Tensor G4 isn't the best for performance always compared to some of the Snapdragons, because the Tensor G4 is very well optimized, it really enhances the battery. Also, the Pixel allows you to learn your battery usage over time, and it increases it even more. So you have adaptive charging over here. You have battery saving modes, battery usage. It'll tell you. You can put the percentage. You have a battery widget you can use for all your Pixel products. So thumbs up. This is just one of the best areas of this phone is the battery. So in terms of audio, so I would expect the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. It gets very loud. It really doesn't have no issues there. It's not the best I've ever heard and the loudest volume, but it gets loud enough. And I think you'll be pretty happy with its audio performance. So I'm not really disappointed with it. I think you're going to enjoy it. Literally cannot believe I forgot this, but some special features like circle to search, I should have talked about that in the software. It's one of the best features of Android phones today. Just hold down and circle to search whatever you want, like Pixel Studio. It'll talk about that and give you a quick search. You can do that on other Android phones now, so it's becoming more widespread, but that's still a good feature for this. This also has things like emergency SOS and crash detection. So this has got that great feature that a lot of people like from the iPhone. It's on here as well, satellite SOS service. So pretty cool stuff right here. I also noticed that the phone call quality and reception strength was better than my past Pixel experiences. It held on pretty good strength here throughout the day. No major issues whatsoever in that respect. So thumbs up for the phone call quality and reception strength. That's been pretty good as well. All right, so let me discuss my final thoughts, my conclusion on this phone. Google is demanding a little bit more of a price on this phone, and I think it's easy to see why. We do have a more premium build than ever before. Larger battery, not way larger than the 8 Pro, but a bigger screen, and you do have a more premium design, more AI features. It definitely feels like it's worth the price until I see the benchmarks for the Tensor G4. So I actually think this is $100 overpriced. Personally, this should be $999. I feel like, but still, this is not no cheapy phone. This is top of the line for sure. You're going to really love the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL if you know you love Android devices. I don't agree with some people's statements that this is just a developer's phone, blah, blah, blah. Nah, this is a consumer grade phone for people who use Google services. This is one of the best, period, for a Google Power user. Also, most people don't have to pay the full price for this phone. You can do a lot of trade-ins and get discounts, although those are ending soon. They will still come back. There will still be trade-in incentives all year long. It's just the pre-order one is probably the best for sure. But I do think it's just slightly higher priced. And because of that weaker CPU, I think it's going to be a tough sell for people who do pay attention to competition. But if you know you like the Pixel, this is going to be a great option overall. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this a 9 out of 10. This thing is a really, really good phone and has a great camera, great battery, smooth performance, long software update, and very well supported in general. Nice OLED display. It's a great phone. It really is overall. So I'm happy with the Google Pixel 9 Pro this year, XL. 9 Pro is going to be the smaller option if you want that. And then you can get the folding version, which is a major departure from the original Fold. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Are you picking one up? Do you love the device? Do you dislike the device? Let me know down below in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Nick here. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to be well, and peace.